live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Now, former Minister for Works and Housing, Dauda, and 4 others have pleaded not guilty to charges, including causing financial loss to the state in the SAGLEMI Housing Project. The court has granted Mr. Dauda self-recognizance bail. He faces other charges, including misapplication of public funds and causing financial loss to the state, and altering the original agreement for the SAGLEMI Housing Project without parliamentary ratification. He and 4 others face 52 charges. My colleague, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, has been monitoring proceedings in court and joins us with more. Parker, who are the 4 others that have been charged alongside Dauda? And tell us how things went in court today.
Okay, so Daniel, today it was quite an interesting moment in court when the 5 accused persons, including Dauda himself, appeared before the High Court Judge, Justice Comfort Kasiame, to argue their case. Now, all 5 of them all pleaded not guilty to the 52 charges leveled against them. So the judge will call the charge, and then whoever is in connection with the charge would have to answer whether he's pleading guilty or not. So that is what happened. Now, when the AG began the proceedings, he clearly indicated that Dauda is a member of parliament, and as a matter of fact, he must be given some kind of preferential treatment. But the others, of course, they are ordinary Ghanaians. And so it was the Attorney General who asked the court to grant Mr. Dauda the self-recognizance bail, which the court granted. Now, before that, he had already made the point that the court must also ask Mr. Dauda to deposit his passport to the court registrar. Now, this the lawyer for Dauda opposed. His argument was that, and the lawyer for Dauda is Thaddeus Sorry. Now, the argument he advanced in court was that Mr. Dauda is a member of parliament he's also a member of the Pan-African Parliament. And as a matter of fact, he'll be traveling regularly to that chamber to execute his work as a member of parliament representing Ghana for that particular chamber. And so it would be very impossible if they should detain or seize his passport. But the AG insisted that they want this process or this court proceedings to travel smoothly, and so with the smooth facilitation and the swift facilitation of this court process, it would be important that the court controls the movement of Mr. Dauda. It is not every traveling that it will be very important. So if he wants the passport, all he has to do is to just put in an application, and then the passport will be made available. Of course, the judge ruled in favor of the Attorney General and asked Mr. Dauda to quickly deposit his passport as part of the bail condition. Now, the other 4, as you mentioned, the second accused person, that is Mr. Kuku Ajiman Mensah, he succeeded Mr. Dauda after he left the Ministry for Works and Housing. He's been granted bail in the sum of $65 million with 2 sureties. The third accused person is Ziblin Yakubu. He is the former chief director for the Works and Housing Ministry. He's been granted a bail in the sum of $65 million, also with 2 sureties. And we are told that the sureties, one must be a public servant. The 4th accused person, in the person of the board chairman or the executive director for Constructora OAS, that is OAS, the company mandated to have constructed the SAGLEMI Housing Project. He's been granted bail in the sum of $179 million. And finally, the last person, who is the Tete Angelo, has also been granted bail in the sum of $13 million with 3 sureties. So these are the bail conditions for these 5 persons.
Parker, were all 5 persons in court? Was the Constructora executive director, for instance, present?
Yes, he was in court together with the 4 others. So all 5 accused persons who are facing 52 criminal charges over their involvement in the construction of the SAGLEMI Housing Project were in court. And as I mentioned, Dauda himself was in court.
Right.
He wasn't there alone. Some other members of parliament were also in court, including the minority leader who, when I spoke to, was really disappointed that at the time the court is on legal vacation, they are pressing charges against his colleague. He accused the court of being selective with his approach in terms of dealing with issues, and also indicated that the charges against Collins Dauda will not stand the test of the law and test of time. So he's confident that at the end of the day, Mr. Collins Dauda will emerge victor in this particular trial.
Thank you very much, Parker Wilson, for joining us. He was in court for us this morning.